Howdy folks, Matt here with Gulf Coast Fit. I'm about to get loosened up before my workout, and I would like to share with you a TRX kind of stretching routine, mobility routine, something to get you lengthened out, help increase circulation, and work out the kinks before you start your training session. So I'm going to run through 5 exercises here, and the way I would structure this is the way I'm going to structure it, and you can too if you're following along, is I'm going to run through 2 rounds of this, 1 minute per exercise, roughly 1 minute. I'm not going to look at my watch too closely, but about a minute per exercise 2 times through, which equals roughly 10 minutes if you were going through each exercise consecutively. It'll last a little longer than that since I'm explaining things to you as well. But here we go. It's going to be 2 exercises for upper body, 2 exercises for lower body, and then 1 for kind of full body and trunk. I'm going to start with a lower body. This is really full body, but this counts as one of our lower body drills. Now this is a deep squat stretch with spinal traction. Very simple, very effective. You notice I've got these TRX straps kind of cinched up, so the straps are a little bit shorter than typical, than they typically would be. You're going to work down into a full squat. Hopefully you can see me in the screen. Also, hopefully you can hear me. I'm using a microphone for the first time, and I think it's pointing at me. Anywho, here I am down in a deep squat stretch. You really want to think about sitting on your heels. A lot of hamstring to calf contact. And you see how I'm gently rocking right to left. Now the TRX straps allow me to safely get into this deep of a squat stretch without putting a lot of stress on the knees. Holding onto the straps and leaning back is what creates the traction in my spine, and I feel this stretching all the way from my upper back down to my tailbone. My body weight is assisting in the stretch. The TRX is helping to create the traction, and by rocking side to side, I feel it going down the side trunk, down my lats, down my serratus, down my obliques, down my QL, side of my lower back. I'm also getting a nice groin and calf stretch that's transitioning kind of in a global fashion around my ankles and my hips. Alright, it's probably about a minute. I'm going to switch to upper body, focusing on the biceps, anterior delts, and the pecs. What we'll do is grab the TRX behind us. This is basically a doorway stretch, conventional chest bicep stretch that you do in a doorway. Only here we're using the TRX, which I like more than the conventional doorway stretch, because this gives you the freedom to move around. It's a little nicer on your joints. So you see, I'm not really dumping forward into this. You want to gently stretch the pecs, shoulders, and biceps, and the reason you want to be very careful with this is shoulders cranking behind you. If you put a lot of weight forward, that can place a lot of traumatic stress on the anterior joint here on the front of your shoulder capsule. I'm going to find the best stretch I can. Like I said, I think the TRX is very beneficial because you can move around a little bit with it. Always find a little something extra. With my palms facing forward like this, getting a very good bicep stretch. If I wanted to flip my palms around, I can take it a little bit further. Anatomically, this is a little bit friendlier on your shoulder joint, but it does take out that bicep stretch for the most part. Anyway, I like them both, so I do them palms back, pronated, or supinated with the palms forward. Give them both a try. I also like to switch my stance up. If I don't switch halfway through a set, then I'll switch one round from the next. And you see how I am kind of pivoting side to side, like the center of my torso is the axis of rotation. I just feel this helping to transition this stretch kind of up and down my pecs, pec minor, anterior delts. Back to lower body, stretch number 3. did a squat stretch, so we're gonna go from squatty to hip hingy. You're only gonna pick 2 lower body stretches. One should be squat based and one should be hinge based, hip hinge based in my opinion. So I call these alternating supermans or superwomans. You see here I hinge at the hips. I'm allowing myself to put some weight and pressure on the TRX straps. That's helping to keep me balanced. My back foot's up in the air, getting a big hamstring stretch. Then I pull myself up with the straps and with my hamstrings. So a lot of you yogis out there, this will look very familiar. It'll look a lot like Warrior 3. Only I'm dumping forward much more than you would in Warrior 3. That's because I've got the straps to help support me. Now you might say, well, why don't you just do Warrior 3? Well, we want to remember our intention here, and that is to stretch and warm up. For me personally, doing Warrior 3, which I could do without the straps, would be much more about stability, core strength, than it is about flexibility, lengthening, and warming up. Yes, I would get a stretch, but I would be battling my balance to not fall over, and my ankles, my calves, my hip would all start to expend a lot of energy, which would kind of go against what I'm looking to get out of this. With the straps, you can allow yourself to relax into this. And really, this is not much effort at all. I can also open the hips up a little bit quite easily. I can level the hips out, bring the back foot up, lean forward a little more, get a good lat stretch, pull myself back up. Do a couple more a little quicker. I'll stay in this position usually for 1 full deep breath, but sometimes up to about 3 breaths at a time. Since this is pre-training session, you don't want to hold a stretch for an excessive amount of time. No more than a minute, but I would generally hold a stretch for about 15 to 20 seconds tops before I work out. Afterwards, a different scenario. Afterwards, you can hold static isometric stretches all you want. A little more appropriate. All right, moving back to upper body. We did an anterior stretch with the doorway stretch. Now we're going to move into technically a posterior stretch for triceps, lats, rear delts, even though we're still facing the same direction. So palms facing forward, going to gently drop forward, and you're going to allow the elbows to be pulled upward towards your head or towards the sky. You're really allowing your body weight to do the work here. I feel a pretty good stretch in my shoulders right now, and if I want to add a little bit more, I can angle myself forward, lean into it. Now I feel it more in my lats. Again, training in general is all about, well, it's greatly about geometry, angles. So try things out with different angles in relation to what joints you're addressing. If I step forward a little bit more like this, for me, I feel that a lot more in my triceps, but that's just me. And I kind of wiggle around. I like to sway side to side, but the point here is I'm allowing the triceps to pull my hands backwards, to pull my elbows upward, and I'm allowing my body weight to do the stretching for me. Once again, you want to be careful about dumping forward aggressively. You don't want to crank your shoulders above your head too hard. It's up to you and your own best judgment. Last up, I'm going to do a core stretch. This is a torso rotation stretch. What you want to do is grab both handles together, 1 foot forward, the other foot back. And really, you only need the outside hand on the straps. You're going to drop laterally away from the anchor. Let your body weight do the work. Let the TRX pull your shoulder blade into protraction, stretching and twisting the thoracic spine. You can open up a little bit more, drop the hips into it. And I feel this all the way down my lumbar spine. Even a little bit of a stretch in the hips and IT band. Big lat stretch going down the side here. With every breath, I kind of open up and drop into it a little bit more. On all of these stretches, take your time, breath by breath. Allow yourself to relax into it a little bit more. You notice how I have my closer foot forward. It's going to help you get the best stretch possible. Inside leg forward, outside leg back. Oh, I got a nice back pop in there. Well, this one's a two-part exercise, so it might take you 12 minutes if you're running through this two times through everything. Now, I recommend going through things twice because you really iron out the kinks on the second time. You know what to expect. You know how to breathe into it. You know how to position yourself. There's always a learning curve to everything. So give that a go. You got 5 exercises: a deep squat stretch with traction, doorway stretch for the chest and shoulders and biceps, the alternating Supermans, or you can call it a TRX Warrior 3 for the hamstrings, the hips, even the chest and lats, and then tricep stretch, triceps, rear delts, lats once again, and then the torso rotation stretch. So give it a go. I'm gonna give it one more time through, but you don't need to watch that. And have some fun with me. Have a good day.